The Great Lent. When I become immersed in the Lord's Passion, I often see the Lord Jesus, during adoration, in this manner. After the scourging, the torturers took the Lord and stripped him of his own garment, which had already adhered to the wounds. As they took it off, his wounds reopened. Then they threw a dirty and tattered scarlet cloak over the fresh wounds of the Lord. The cloak in some places barely reached his knees. They made him sit on a piece of beam, and then they wove a crown of thorns, which they put on his sacred head. They put a reed in his hand and made fun of him, bowing to him as to a king. Some spat in his face, while others took their reed and struck him on the head with it. Others caused him pain by slapping him. Still others covered his face and struck him with their fists. Jesus bore all this with meekness. Who can comprehend him, comprehend his suffering? Jesus' eyes were downcast. I sensed what was happening in the most sweet heart of Jesus at that time. Let every soul reflect on what Jesus was suffering at that moment. They tried to outdo each other in insulting the Lord. I reflected, where does malice in man come from? It is caused by sin. Love and sin have met. When I was attending Mass in a certain church with another sister, I felt the greatness and majesty of God. I felt the church was permeated by God. His majesty enveloped me, and, though it terrified me, it filled me with peace and joy. I knew that nothing could oppose his will. Oh, if only all souls knew who is living in our churches, there would not be so many outrages and so much disrespect in these holy places. O eternal and incomprehensible love, I beg you for one grace. Enlighten my mind with light from on high. Help me to know and appreciate all things according to their value. I feel the greatest joy in my soul when I come to know the truth. March 21st, 1935. Often during Mass, I see the Lord in my soul. I feel his presence which pervades my being. I sense his divine gaze. I have long talks with him without saying a word. I know what his divine heart desires, and I always do what will please him most. I love him to distraction, and I feel that I am being loved by God. At those times when I meet with God deep within myself, I feel so happy that I do not know how to express it. Such moments are short, for the soul could not bear it for long, as separation from the body would be inevitable. Though these moments are very short, their power, however, which is transmitted to the soul, remains with it for a very long time. Without the least effort, I experience the profound recollection which then envelops me, and it does not diminish even if I talk with people, nor does it interfere with the performance of my duties. I feel the constant presence of God without any effort of my soul. I know that I am united with him as closely as a drop of water is united with the bottomless ocean. Last Thursday, toward the end of my prayers, I felt this grace, and it lasted for an unusually long time, for it was throughout Mass, so that I thought I would die of joy. At such times, my knowledge of God and his attributes becomes more acute, and also I know my own self and my misery much better. I am amazed at the Lord's great condescension to such a miserable such as mine. After Holy Mass, I felt completely immersed in God, and am still conscious of his every glance into the depth of my heart. About midday, I entered the chapel for a moment, and again the power of grace struck my heart. As I continued in a state of recollection, Satan took a flower pot and angrily hurled it to the ground with all his might. I saw all his rage and his jealousy. There was no one in the chapel, so I got up, picked up the pieces of the flower pot, repotted the flower, and tried to do all this before anyone came in. but I did not manage to do so, as Mother Superior came in at that moment, together with the Sister Sacristan and several other sisters. Mother Superior was surprised that I had been touching something on the altar, and thus caused the flower pot to fall. Sister Sacristan showed her displeasure, and I did my best not to explain or excuse myself. But towards evening I felt very exhausted and could not make my holy hour, so I asked Mother Superior to allow me to go to bed early. I fell asleep as soon as I laid down, but at about 11 o'clock Satan shook my bed. I awoke instantly, and I started to pray peacefully to my guardian angel. Then I saw the souls who were doing penance in purgatory. They appeared like shadows, and among them I saw many demons. One of these tried to vex me, taking the form of a cat. He kept throwing himself onto my bed and on my feet, and he was quite heavy, as it weighed a ton. I kept praying the rosary all the while, and toward dawn these beings vanished, and I was able to get some sleep. When I entered the chapel in the morning, I heard a voice in my soul. You are united to me, fear nothing, but know, my child, that Satan hates you. He hates every soul, but he burns with a particular hatred for you, because you have snatched so many souls from his dominion. This morning I heard these words, from today until the celebration of the resurrection, you will not feel my presence, but your soul will be filled with a great longing. And immediately a great longing filled my soul. I felt a separation from my beloved Jesus, and when the moment for Holy Communion came, I saw the suffering face of Jesus in every host contained in the chalice. From that moment, I felt a more intense yearning in my heart. On Good Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when I entered the chapel, I heard these words, I desire that the image be publicly honored. Then I saw the Lord Jesus dying on the cross amidst great suffering, and out of the heart of Jesus came the same two rays as are in the image. Saturday, during Vespers, I saw the Lord Jesus radiant as the sun, in a bright garment, and he said to me, May your heart be joyful. And great joy flooded me, and I was penetrated with God's presence, which for the soul is a treasure beyond words. When the image was displayed, I saw a sudden movement of the hand of Jesus, as he made a large sign of the cross. In the evening of the same day, when I had gone to bed, I saw the image going over the town, and the town was covered with what appeared to be a mesh and nets. As Jesus passed, he cut through all the nets, and finally made a large sign of the cross and disappeared. I saw myself surrounded by a multitude of malicious figures, burning with hatred for me. Various threats came from their lips, but none of them touched me. After a moment, this apparition vanished, but for a long time I could not get to sleep. April 26th, on Friday, when I was at Ostra Brahma to attend the ceremony during which the image was displayed, I heard a sermon given by my confessor, Father Sepoko. This sermon about divine mercy was the first of the things that Jesus had asked for so very long ago. When he began to speak about the great mercy of the Lord, the image came alive, and the rays pierced the hearts of the people gathered there, but not all to the same degree. Some received more, some less. Great joy filled my soul to see the grace of God. Then I heard the words, You are a witness of my mercy. You shall stand before my throne forever as a living witness to my mercy. When the sermon was over, I did not wait for the end of the service, as I was in a hurry to get back home. When I had taken a few steps, a great multitude of demons blocked my way. They threatened me with terrible tortures, and voices could be heard. She has snatched away everything we have worked for over so many years. When I asked them, Where have you come from in such great numbers? The wicked forms answered, Out of human hearts, stop tormenting us. Seeing their great hatred for me, I immediately asked my guardian angel for help, and at once the bright and radiant figure of my guardian angel appeared, and said to me, Do not fear, spouse of my Lord. Without his permission, these spirits will do you no harm. Immediately the evil spirits vanished, and the faithful guardian angel accompanied me, in a visible manner, right to the very house. His look was modest and peaceful, and a flame of fire sparkled from his forehead. O Jesus, I would like to toil and wear myself out and suffer all my life for that one moment in which I saw your glory, O Lord, and profit for souls. Sunday, April 28, 1935. Lo Sunday, that is, the Feast of the Divine Mercy, the conclusion of the Jubilee of Redemption. When we went to take part in the celebrations, my heart leapt with joy that the two solemnities were so closely united. I asked God for mercy on the souls of sinners. Toward the end of the service, when the priest took the Blessed Sacrament to bless the people, I saw the Lord Jesus as he is represented in the image. The Lord gave his blessing, and the rays extended over the whole world. Suddenly I saw an impenetrable brightness, in the form of a crystal dwelling place, woven together from waves of brilliance unapproachable to both creatures and spirits. 3 doors led to this resplendence. At that moment, Jesus, as he is represented in the image, entered this resplendence through the second door to the unity within. It is a triple united, which is incomprehensible, which is infinity. I heard a voice. This feast emerged from the very depths of my mercy, and it is confirmed in the vast depths of my tender mercies. Every soul believing and trusting in my mercy will obtain it. I was overjoyed at the immense goodness and greatness of my God.